Hi, are you sick and tired of paying hundreds of dollars a month for cable or dish? GNR TV is your answer. These guys have an incredible 100% legal product that is a cord cutter's dream. For as low as $25 a month, you will get over 400 HD channels, including all major sports packages, pay per views, premium movies, and entertainment. To get started, all you need is a streaming device, such as an Amazon Fire Stick, internet, and a desire to save a ton of cash. No contracts, no credit checks, no hidden fees. I myself have been a subscriber, and I must say this service is amazing. To learn more, search GNR TV on Facebook or Instagram, and I will also be posting a link on my pages to check out on my podcast website. Lastly, for first-time subscribers, use promo code SIR30 to save $5 for your first month. GNR TV, streaming done right.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Here's another exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. I'm your host, Sir Sturdy, and today we have the lovely guest, Corey Taylor. Corey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited.
Now, before I even ask you about anything to do with horror or acting, we were just talking for a couple minutes, and you say you have a talk show yourself. Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, so it's called Corey Taylor Talks, and basically I started when I was 17 years old. It started off as a teen talk show, and really the whole point of it is basically just to be positive and really keep it happy and positive, which I think the world really needs today. There's just so much negativity out there, so we really try to highlight the good things that are going on and good people. And we do lots of interviews with some great people, some very famous people, some people doing amazing things in their community, people with incredible survival stories. I mean, just kind of everything. And it's a great show that I love doing. It's really fun, and it's given me so many opportunities and to meet so many people and to go down to Hollywood and meet all of them and interview them. It's just really an amazing thing I've been blessed to do now for 6 years.
That's really awesome. Honestly, that's amazing, and I want to congratulate you on that for one. And
thank you.
I love how you came on here and was just saying like it's all about positivity and just the world definitely needs that, especially the way the world is now. It's like going downhill again.
Yes.
And it's social media and all this technology we have is a gift and a curse. I say it's a curse because so much negativity can be shared in 2 seconds, and then it's a gift because me and you are sitting here talking to each other. I'm in Albany, New York. I'm not sure where you are, but I know you're not sitting next to me. To me.
Yeah, it's in Vegas, so yeah, it's completely opposite sides.
Exactly. So it's, stuff like this, and then what you do with your show, I think that's really cool. I'm definitely have to check that out.
Oh, thank you.
So what got you started with that? Like, what made you want to, I guess, have a talk show?
Well, it kind of actually started with my acting. So I've been acting, well, really since I was really little, like 2 years old.
Okay.
But then I got into film acting when I was probably about 12, I would say. And then I was a guest on someone else's show, and it got a lot of response and everything, so they offered me my own. And, it sounds like a really good idea, but as you know, it's a lot of work that people don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
So especially at 15, it was kind of a lot. I had my mom, thank gosh, and we just did it together. And it started off pretty small, but we've just been really lucky, and it grew and grew. And we just got tons of guests. And the main thing, when we first started, actually a lot of our focus was on anti-bullying, because kind of like what you said, there's just even though social media is incredible and it has given us so many incredible opportunities, it is just so easy to focus on all the bad stuff that's going on, and just so much hate and negativity, and it's just like you said, it just seems to be getting worse, unfortunately. But we really focused on anti-bullying because I always said, I don't care how perfect you are, how rich you are, how successful you are. Everyone has been bullied in some way or another, you know. And so I really wanted to focus on that, especially for today's generation, to know they weren't alone. But it kind of grew from there, and it's just been such a blessing, you know, and to start all the way from that, barely knowing what I was doing to now 6 years later, it's just really overwhelming, you know.
That's so cool. I just started this last year, January
Oh,
1st
awesome.
of 2018. Yeah, so I'm going on 2 years next January, and it's just I see what you're saying from it. Like at first, it was just me recording with family and friends, and it went from that to just reaching other people, which is cool. And it's a horror
Right.
podcast and the horror community. How positive, as crazy as it sounds, how positive and friendly that community really
Oh, it
is.
is. Yes.
And like I feel like each episode I get better with the recording process, and it seems like it comes more and more natural. From I think I have like 80 episodes out now, so it goes from episode
Wow.
1 to episode 80, and you're just I don't know. I was never really nervous with it, but I just feel more confident with it now, I guess. And it's fun. It's positive. I mean, yeah, we do talk junk about movies, but it's not like in I have to. I mean, if I'm reviewing movies, I have to be honest
Of
about
course.
them. But I try
No,
to.
and absolutely, and that's what's cool. You need the balance for sure, and especially that's what your whole show's about is movie reviews. So you want it to be honest, you know.
But at the same time, I tried to still tell people like if no matter what I feel about the movie, I still try to tell people like, look, go out, watch this movie, or watch it on your Amazon Prime or whatever the case may be, and check it out for yourself. Don't go by my opinion if I didn't like it or even if I loved it. That's perfectly
Right.
fine, and go from there. And I had my brother on one time. He was on one of the first few episodes, and I've had conversations with him. He was saying what I should try. He was like, what you should try to do, even if you have a bad review for a movie, if you hated it, try to find at least something you liked about that movie, which I try to do, even if it's something as silly as like somebody's cool jacket in the movie. I'll point
Yeah.
that out. So I try to get better and better with that, but it's refreshing, and it's real cool to hear how you're coming on saying you have your show and it's all about positivity, and you just talk about that and anti-bullying. I think that's real. That's real honor and like rewarding to hear.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And yeah, no, I think it's really cool what you're doing, and it's a lot of work, and I don't think people really understand that. Like, it just seems like, oh, you're just doing a show, but it's so much research behind it. And like you said, I don't even do the editing part, so for you to do the recording and all that, I mean, I give giant kudos to you, because that is just amazing.
I can't even take all the credit though. Like I do record on my end, but as far as like the mixing down, the cleaning up, and all that, I actually send that to my younger brother Christian because he I don't know if he still raps now, but he's been making beats since he was probably like he's 30 now, probably since he was about 10 years old, and just out of
Oh,
a
wow.
passion. So he knows the whole process of mixing stuff down and doing all that. So I send it to him, and he does that for me, sends it back to me, and I put it out. As my episodes are supposed to go out, and I always tell him like, listen, if this thing ever generates money, you will be the first one besides me to get, whatever revenue this thing does generate,
Right.
if it does generate it. And I wanted to keep it in-house too, just because I know my brother would have my best interest for me as far as listening to it, checking for the sound, if there's any dead air and all that, and just he wouldn't be doing it for a paycheck. He'd be doing it because he's my brother and he wants to help me out, and vice versa.
Right. No, that's a cool thing, and I like I said, I had my mom with me too, and I think that's awesome that you have it with the family, because that's like you said, that's all you can really trust, especially in this kind of industry. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's very overwhelming. So at least you can trust your immediate family for
Yes,
sure.
yes, immediate family and close friends, and
Yeah.
I've met so many amazing, really cool people just between doing this podcast and then like in Facebook horror groups, going to horror conventions and all that. And it's just some of them you make lifelong friendships with. Some it's just like, hey, I seen you at the con last, just familiarizing yourselves with them. Some of them, they just come on for an interview or two. But either way, it's just cool. You get these connections with so many people, like around the freaking world, just sitting at my desk at home.
Right. No, it is. It's so cool. And like you said in the beginning of the podcast too, the horror community is really, it's such a great community. And I think that's kind of cool. Like, it's a different way to express yourself, and I think a lot of people judge it, but there's a lot of creativity and really a lot of thought that goes behind a lot of horror films. And even one of the ones I was involved with, it's called A Telephobia, and basically, it's about this girl who I play who gets really bullied and everything. And she ends up losing her mind and killing everyone.
Oh, wow.
And although we don't try and promote the going and killing everyone, it was a big release for the director because he was really bullied as a kid, and it was kind of a way for him to get back at his bullies in a creative way. And it's really an amazing community, the horror community. And people, I think, if they're not involved with it, they get scared of it or be like, oh, why are people into that? But it's a really great community. It's really awesome.
It really is. And it's funny because the movies we watch are the sickest, most violent, disturbing movies you could think of, but we're just watching the make-believe stuff, so to speak, the art of it. We're not out there doing it. We don't condone really doing it. The art of it, as far as in a movie, yeah. But really going out there and doing all that stuff that Jason and those guys do, no, it's not a good. That's a horrible idea. It's a horrible thing.
Exactly. No, yeah, absolutely not to do it in real life. But it is. It's a good release to watch it,
Now, you said you've been acting pretty much since you were about 2 years old. Is that something, obviously your parents got you into it, but was it something that you just seen a family member do when you were little and you just wanted to try it out? Or
yeah, well, basically, it's kind of funny. My mom was a singer and my sister was a dancer, and I was just never able to really find anything. And my mom, because she wanted us to really be able to express ourselves, and she's always been amazing since I was little. And she tried me in every possible thing you can imagine. I tried literally everything: tennis, golf, hula dancing, Polynesian, just hip hop, ballet, anything you could possibly think of, you name it, and acting. And the acting was the only one that really stuck, and that was the one thing that I just truly loved, and I couldn't really see myself doing anything but. And it's just been an absolute passion for me since I was very young. But then when I got older and really was even more able to appreciate it even more, it's just really such a passion for me, and I love nothing more than to act.
That's awesome. That's cool that's cool how your mother kind of had a vision for you guys, not necessarily what you guys would be doing, but she's like, I want you guys to be able to express yourselves, and you're getting to do it in something that you both enjoy. I'm guessing your sister enjoys the dance.
Right, yeah, she was an amazing dancer. We're a few years apart. We're about almost 9 years apart, but
okay.
She was very into hip-hop dancing is mostly her thing.
Okay, that's cool, too. And then the acting with you, which is awesome. Now, as far as acting goes, like the role you were just saying, how you're playing somebody who was bullied and ended up killing a bunch of people, is it hard to turn that character on and off? Like that, when you're doing different roles or just roles in general?
It's actually, I'm really lucky with that. It's kind of easy for me. I'm really not into the whole method acting. I've tried a lot of different forms of acting, but for me, it's kind of my own thing. I'm very blessed in the way I'm able to turn it on and off. I don't need to stay in character the whole time or even on the set the whole time. I'm kind of just able to go in and out, which is great for me because some of my characters are really dark or are messed up in the head or are even being victims or whatnot. So it's a good thing I don't have to really get too deep into their mind for such a long time,
Yeah, that's good. I love asking people that because it's interesting how everybody has a different take on that, I guess. Like some people say, like I have to be alone or I have to just get in this mindset and be alone especially if it's like a dark type character. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Right. And just some people like you I just go on set and do what I have to do, and then I can turn it right off as soon as the cameras are off, pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm lucky too because a lot of the people I've worked with are really great friends of mine too, and we became very close through the acting and being part of their movies. And even one of my best friends, who you just actually had on, Joe, he's just awesome, and we work together really well because he understands how I can kind of go in and out, and so we have a great time on set. But when it needs to be serious, and we actually need to film, and it needs to be more serious tone. We do it, but then we're able to snap right out of it and have fun again. And I think that's a good thing for me, so I don't get too lost into it, which I know happens unfortunately to a lot of people.
That's cool. Yeah, Joe, I did just have him on a couple hours ago. Really fun to record with. Really nice guy, and I love his mind for his skills. What he does with as far as making the movies. I love how he was telling me how he did sci-fi movies. He has the comic book, and he took characters from that and made a movie. And he
Yeah.
has like some horror stuff, and he made them in one universe. Like kind of have them mixing together. And I'm like, that's freaking cool because usually when that happens, it's like horror with horror, sci-fi with sci-fi. Sometimes they cross over, and like say Marvel, for example, with Marvel, and then that's it. There's no real crossover, but he's putting little bits and pieces of his movies, and I was like, that's just something new and fresh, and it's something I really love and respect about the indie horror scene is there's always new and fresh ideas, and I told him this too. I was like, it's like a gift and a curse that you guys don't have a Hollywood budget. I said it's a curse because the big budget, you can do what you want. But I said it's a gift because it forces you to be a lot more creative and not repetitive, putting the same stuff out. And you guys do amazing work with that. And I respect it and love it all.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And honestly, even in Vegas, people, when people think of the film community and stuff, they usually think of LA and Hollywood. But there's actually a very, very big film community here in Vegas, and I know in a lot of different places across the country and the world, there's a lot of really big film communities out there, and Vegas is really cool out here because, like you said, yeah, we don't have the big budget that a lot of Hollywood films do. But we are able to make it work, and thank God Vegas is half the price of LA in every aspect.
Well, that's good.
So we do luck out with that and stuff. But a lot of the films are also filmed in LA or Texas and stuff, and we have to go back and forth. But it's really amazing to see what they can do with such a ultra low budget film. Some of these people, and even with bigger budgets, how creative you can get, and how you're able to make something out of nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Trust me. I'm such a big fan. Like I love horror in general, but I feel, and I did steal this from my brother. I can't quote him exactly, but pretty much he was saying how like independent horror is like the backbone of the whole genre, just because you guys come up with the fresh ideas, you guys keep it going, you guys keep the fans interested, you guys interact with the fans a ton, which is we love it, and it's needed, especially with the fresh ideas thing. Even if the budget isn't big, we can all ignore that. That's perfectly fine. It's just you see somebody out, you see a team out there that want to do a movie, a horror movie or whatever, they get the backing from the fans, like when you guys do the Indiegogos and the Kickstarters, which I love. And it's one thing that fans love being a part of something as far as with movies and everything else. Hey, cool, I put my $30 towards this movie. I'm going to get a Blu-ray signed from it and a thank you in the credits. That's awesome. And
Right.
I love it. I just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. I just think it's such a great thing because you guys put on these movies for us, and at the same time you reach back to us and talk to us. You don't act like you're too big to talk to us fans, which I mean that's not just indie. I'm just saying you guys are real big with that, but it's not just indie. Like I've met others that aren't indie but they're in horror, and just it's just cool how it all works like that.
Oh yeah, and it is. It is a lot of, especially like you said, the indie horror film and stuff. People are still humble and realize that you honestly wouldn't be anywhere without the fans. But it's really kind of sad to see. Even I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro. I don't care. I don't think
Hmm.
there's any reason to treat people in a bad way. Like I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see the dynamic now, and I understand people need privacy and such. And I'm not saying as far as that goes with the paparazzi and everything, but I still think everyone needs to realize that everyone's human, and just because you did such and such thing, there's no reason to treat other people that way, and just treat people with respect, you know. And it's kind of sad. It's not more like that. And that's why the community here is so cool, and the horror film, like you said, because everyone is still together, and they still understand each other, and they're all working, and it's a really awesome thing, you know.
Yeah, you know what it is too with it is like I've talked, I can't think of who exactly, but just like going to these horror cons and all this, I'll thank them for their autographs, I'll thank them for the movies they've done, but they turn around and thank us fans because it's like they'll tell us without you fans watching our films, you know, we don't have anything. We're not. I'm not gonna say we're nothing, but we don't. You know, we're not here at these cons and this, that, and the third. We're not making these movies if it wasn't for the fans. But then I can go around and say, well, if it wasn't for you guys making these amazing movies, we would have nothing to watch, with the horror stuff especially. So it's
Yeah,
just
it's a big giant circle. It sounds
exactly.
good, but no, it's true. They wouldn't be anywhere without the fans, and no one would be. It's just a giant circle, and it's really cool. And I think that's why we need to treat everyone like that, you know.
Yeah, be a lot more humble.
Right.
So with well, okay, so what are you a big horror fan as far as watching horror?
Yes, I am. Actually, my mom, again, kind of got me into that. This is really bad, but even when I was 1 year old,
Oh, that's
she'd
beautiful.
always take me to horror films, and we'd always watch them. Um, and I'm a huge chicken when it comes to horror. I love it. You know, it's
Hmm.
hard for me to watch, and I might not even see half the movie. But I still love it. It's just something about it. It's a thrill of getting scared. You know, it's a really cool thing. I love the horror. I love horror.
First of all, before I get into my next question, kudos and hats off to your mother for getting you into horror at such a young age. I think that's beautiful. I don't think there's really, I mean, one is perfect. If you ask me, that's a perfect age to get a kid into horror. I I think I started around about between 5 and 7. I want to say I would follow like my older brother, my older cousins around as a kid, and they're a few years older than me, and they would get to rent horror movies and all that on the weekends, and I'd be right there watching them with them, scared to death. Like
Right.
I would be so scared to the point where I had to have one of them walk me to the bathroom, like wait outside the bathroom for me to go, and then come back and watch the movie. Sleep with the light on, sleep with the night light on. They were like, it's all cool, just depending on whose house we were at. Like if we're at my house, don't wake mom up, don't wake aunt so and so up, because you're gonna get us all in trouble. Then you're not gonna hang out with us watching horror movies anymore. So I'm like, okay, well, okay. And now I'm here doing a podcast about it. But what I wanted to ask you was, what movie scared you? What's the first movie you remember that scared you as a child?
Oh, you know, there were so many because, like I said, literally since I was a baby. But the one that still gets me, that I don't even know what it's about because I can't watch it, and even when I hear the name, I don't know what it did to me, but it just completely scarred me for life. Was Darkness Falls.
Okay.
I don't even remember what it's about. I couldn't tell you anything. I think I was like probably 4, literally, when I saw it. But it just scarred me for life, and it was just so bad. I think I probably watched like the first 20 minutes, and I couldn't even finish it. It just completely screwed me up for life.
Oh wow. That I mean, it's cool that you have that. In a sense, it's cool you have that movie. You're just like no, I can't do it. I wish you can get through it. I hope you can get through it one day. I have to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember it. But it's it's cool that you have that. And again, it's cool how your mother got you into that at such a young age. Just I mean, now you're in horror movies.
Right.
Can now can you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, they keep saying like, let's watch it one day, and I mean, I'm sure if I watched it now, it'd probably be pathetic, and I'm probably like, what in the world was I thinking? But you know, it's just always
Yep.
that childhood thing in you.
Oh, we all have them. Mine was I don't know how familiar you are with the series, but Creep Show 2, The
Oh
Hitchhiker.
yes.
The Hitchhiker. As a kid, I was terrified. I have no idea why now because I watched it recently. I mean, I've watched it quite a few times ever since then, but I remember watching it recently and just like laughing through the whole thing. Like, what the hell was I afraid of? But
Right.
I mean, I get it because as a kid, and this is way before all the technology and stuff they had out now, we had imagination. So your imagination just runs wild. You know damn well nothing's gonna happen, but for some reason, whatever we watch in these movies or whatever scares us to death. We have to sleep with the light on, and we hide under the covers. That's like your little shield or whatever, which really it isn't because it's not really gonna save you from anything at all. But
Right.
but the wind.
Right. The monster can still look under the sheet for sure.
Yeah, or just take you or whatever. But you think you hide under the covers and it just protects you. I'm like, no. But I mean, I think that's one thing I do miss about being a child is like I watch horror movies now. I love them. I love them. I'll jump here and there sometimes, but nothing scares me anymore. But that's one thing I kind of miss as a child, just having that fear, like watching a movie and your heart's racing and you're just like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And boom. Now I'm just watching it. Even the ones that aren't so predictable, I'm watching it and I'm just calm watching it, usually laughing. I can't help it. Because I'm at the point where I'm like, why would you go in there for as far as the slashers go? Why would you?
Right.
What? Don't listen to that. You've never heard that voice in your life. Why are you following that voice?
Exactly.
But it's again, I'll still watch those same movies 40 times a day if I have to. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, and I'm still a chicken when it comes to, I still get scared of movies, so it's easier for sure than when I was really little, but I still am a big chicken when it comes to horror films.
No, it's good though. I mean, it's cool. Do you have a favorite slasher, horror slasher icon?
Michael Myers.
Michael
I
Myers.
just think he's like an absolute classic, and like I said, even though the movies probably aren't that scary, as much as like some of the current stuff, it's still he's just an absolute classic,
Yeah. See, I'm a big Jason Voorhees fan.
Yeah, Jason's great. Jason's an absolute icon. Well, Jason or his mom.
Yes, his mother too. And you know what it is with that series for me is back in the day as a kid, Friday the 13th, they used to always play it on the USA Network. I mean, they would cut out all the good scenes and stuff, but that's probably the movie I've seen, that franchise I've probably seen more than any other horror movie I've seen in my life. Just because every Friday the 13th that it was on, it would play that whole weekend, and I would just watch. Say if it's in the school during the school year, as soon as I get out of school, do what I have to do. I'm sitting down in front of the TV watching those movies that whole weekend, and then summer, you already know what I'm doing all day, all weekend.
Yeah.
I remember getting the DVDs as I want to say it was about 17, 18, maybe 18, and it was me and my brother, and we were too young to buy alcohol, so I got the DVD set when that first came out, and we went to the store and grabbed like candy, potato chips, and Red Bull, and watched that whole from the first one to the last, which was at that time was Jason Goes to Hell, was the last one. I believe it was before Jason X, but we watched from the first one to the last one that weekend. That's all we did. Just as soon as it was nighttime, movies, candy, Red Bull, and Jason. And it's just it's so cool how like watching these type of movies, it kind of reminds you of your childhood as far as like just hanging out with friends, watching the movies, going to the video stores, renting these VHS movies, getting your little snacks, and going home and just hanging out.
Oh yeah, no, it's such awesome memories for sure that are tied with so many of them, and yeah, Jason's awesome. It's just I kind of had the same thing with Michael Myers. I just always had a thing for the Halloween series, and even the other ones that got horrible reviews, I still love. I think they're great. I don't know, so I understand what you're saying with the Jason, because Jason's a classic. I mean, all of them, they're all icons, but yeah.
Now, what did you? Because you say you're a Halloween fan. 2 questions. This is a 2-parter. Did you see Halloween Part 3? And if you did, what did you think of it?
I did see it. I like I said, I know I know they have such bad reviews. I do. I like them.
Okay.
I don't know, just something about it. I do. I like it. I'm not really too judgy on them.
See, with me, with that one, it was the Season of the Witch where he wasn't in it. And
right.
again, going back to my childhood, we would rent these movies, like, rent 1 and 2 at one point, and 3 and 4 and so on. And when we got part 3 and got to it, we were like, what the hell is this? He's not even in the movie. Just so mad about it. And I think I watched it like 1 or 2 times, maybe one time as a kid. I didn't watch that part again until like my adult life. Until like my adult life would face. This is maybe within the past 6 or 7 years now. But and there's Facebook and all these horror groups and stuff, and people were talking about it, and I was like, that movie was not good, blah blah blah. And someone was just like, watch it as a standalone film. Don't even connect it with the series, and put a fresh set of eyes on it. So I did it, and I'm like, oh wow, this movie's actually not bad at all. But just
and I think that's probably why I liked it. Cause I was really little when I saw it the first time, anyways, and so I went. Even though it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't really Michael Myers or anything, I just liked the movie. So I really do. I liked all the series, and even the ones where, even like that, it was definitely different, but I still, I just liked them. I thought they were all done pretty well.
Did you even like both the Rob Zombie ones, even the second one?
Actually, I don't think I ever saw the second Rob Zombie. I saw the first Rob Zombie, and I did like that one. I think I liked the other ones better, and like the original Halloween. But I respect Rob Zombie completely, and I did like the first one a lot. But I don't think I actually even saw the second one.
I'll say it to you like this: I'll never tell anybody not to watch a movie. The first one I thought they did was an excellent movie.
Yeah.
The second one, I'll say watch at your own risk. I think I only watched that maybe twice, and I own it. It just.
Oh wow.
It's well, you know what? I'm gonna say give it a try. You might really enjoy it, but it just, I don't know. I don't want to even say what happened. Well, for one, I forgot a lot, and two, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no, I'll have to watch it then. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check it out. But let's talk about.
I'll have to see it.
Talk about some upcoming stuff you have with your movies.
Oh yeah, just honestly a bunch. It's kind of never ending, but I love it. It's just it's so cool. We have it's just so many. I'm trying to think. So Rust 1 and 2 just came out finally. Both of them came out a few months ago. And so now we're working on part 3 in October. And we're also going to be working on part 3 of Atelophobia. And I believe October, November time. And then we're doing another film. It's called My Little Nightmare. And I'm really excited about that one. It's a brand new movie by itself. But it's just going to be really, really cool. It's a classic ghost story, and that's why I really like it. Because I haven't been in a lot of ghost ones for some reason, mostly like the slasher killers. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of cool to do a ghost one. And then the Immortal Wars 3, I think we're working on next year. And that one I'm really excited for because the Immortal Wars, that's been a whole different thing to work on and all the sci-fi of it, and I really like it. And my character has a lot of really great things for part 3, so I'm really excited for that one as well. And then just kind of my show, keep on doing that. Next week, actually, I believe I'm going to the Emmys gifting suite, so it'll be really cool. A whole bunch of different things coming up. Lots and lots of stuff.
That's awesome. Staying busy and doing something you love doing. I love it. Now with your talk show, where do you how can somebody listen to it? And is it like a show where you have anybody on, so to speak, or is it more like actors, actresses, and stuff like that?
No, we try to highlight everyone. And we had obviously tons of actors and actresses and directors and singers and everything, but I also really like to highlight especially for Vegas, a lot of our local community members and just people across the country doing good things, and just kind of everything. We've had a lot of fellow podcast hosts or radio show hosts, so I was actually going to talk to you later. I'd love to have you on as well.
Awesome.
But just kind of everyone, we just try to highlight the good things going around, and we really don't discriminate against anything,
That's really cool. That's real. We will, and I would love to discuss that when this episode's over. But that's really cool. Like I love seeing stuff like that and hearing stuff about stuff like that. Like I have a really good friend actually that we used to work together a few years ago, and I remember at work he'd always because he used to run track as a kid. Like he grew up running track, and he used to talk about how at work, how yeah, well man, he kept saying, hey man, I'm gonna start a track team. I'm gonna start a track team like for the youth and all this stuff. And a lot of coworkers were just, yo, he's just talking. It's not gonna happen. Blah blah blah. I was like, yo, if you really want to do it, you can do it. Just whatever you know, go out and do it. And now he has a track team now. This was I want to say this was about 4 or 5 years ago when he was saying it. My brother was helping him with it a lot. He doesn't really help as much just because he's busy, but my brother was helping him with it a lot. My cousin was helping him with it a lot. My little cousin was on the track team. I believe he's going to be back on it again. But
Awesome.
my brother, my cousin, and my friend Eric, and then a bunch of other people, and like their kids and stuff. They went out to Michigan 2 years ago, I want to say, and he brought home two champions, like running in big meets, which is amazing.
Wow.
Just from our little town of upstate in Schenectady, New York, of upstate New York. So I'm just like, and he was telling me next year, like every year he's been doing it. I think the first year they started, they only had like 4 or 5 kids. Every year it's been growing, and I just seen him yesterday, and he was like, man, next year he's like, I want to start registration like January, this, that, and the third, and try to get money together and all this. And they're trying to find sponsors for both because what he's doing is amazing. I told him, I was like, look, man, you're saving a lot of children's lives. I was like, not only that, but if it wasn't for you, a lot of these kids would never be able to travel out of the state of New York. Like they just came back from North Carolina a few weeks ago in the summer. They go all over the place as far as how these track meets go, and he loves doing it. It's passionate about it, and it's just it's just one of those cool things you see, and I'm just like I can't wait to see it grow. I was like I can't wait to see where you're gonna be in 5 years. Next year he was saying they're gonna have like 50 kids, which I think is just amazing. It's just again it only started from like 4 kids. I think one of the kids was his son, one of the kids was my little cousin, and like 2 other kids.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's amazing, and that's kind of the cool thing with my show too is there's just so much that you don't even think about, and because, like I said, especially most of my life is kind of more focused on the acting and musical and all that stuff, that part of the community. But there's so much more, and you don't even realize or think about all the great things people are really doing out there to improve the world and all people's different passions. So it's really cool to learn so many different things and to be able to help them. It's because I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We were actually pretty poor growing up, and it was my single mom. 2 kids. It was a very difficult situation for her and for us growing up, but. I think it's so amazing when people help out and are really able to give back to the community and stuff and improve so many lives,
I agree with you 100% on that. And I mean, I could say similar things. I definitely didn't grow up with the most money, growing up as a kid and all that with my parents. But I mean, obviously everybody wishes they were rich. Everybody wishes they had all the money. But I feel at the same time, it is really rewarding the way we grew up just because you had to face, and I'm not saying people who have a lot of money don't face any issues because they do. But I mean, as far as like financial hardships you have to face, and it's kind of like, okay, well, I can't afford to do this, or I can't afford to get this to eat, but I can afford to get 10 things of this. It might not taste as good, but I have to make it work. It's like if you ever hit that point in life, you would know how to take care of it. You wouldn't stress it. You'd be upset, but you wouldn't stress it. You wouldn't let it defeat you. It might bring you down some, but you won't let it defeat you, so to speak.
Absolutely, yeah. Like what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and
Exactly.
I really do. Like you said, I believe that, and I think it's so cool that people have gone through so many struggles throughout life that people won't even know about half of it, but they're just continuing on going and helping more people and improving their lives, so they don't have to go through what they went through. And I just think it's really amazing that people can turn such negative experiences into positive, incredible things that will just keep on going.
Just so true. So true. Is horror like your favorite genre as far as acting in, or do you have a favorite?
I've been lately, for some reason, I've just been typecasted in horror. I just keep getting horror, which I I love, because I do love like playing the killer and stuff, and the victim's always fun. But it's kind of fun to get into that mindset of a real evil character and how they
Yeah.
got there. So I love, 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 love playing that. But I'm kind of great with everything. I really love playing all different characters, and you just never know what will come next. And I'm open to anything. Like I've done comedy roles, and that's just been a blast. I've done action roles. I've done romance. I mean, everything. It's kind of cool to play out different roles, and really express yourself in different ways. And I love doing all the genres. I've just been lately, for whatever reason, more in horror.
Mhm.
But that works for me because I've been raised on horror since I was little, so that works for me too.
Yeah, that's all. So it's almost like a dream come true. That's really cool.
Exactly.
And for me, like, I mean, obviously when we were kids, there was no such thing as podcasts at all. So I can't even say this is like a
Right.
dream come true. But I mean, I never thought I'd meet anybody that was an actor or director or had anything to do with a horror movie besides other fans, maybe. And now it's like I said, I go to the cons and I have the podcast, and I've had so many actors and actresses and directors on here, and just other fans, and going to the cons and meeting these people, getting their autographs. It's it's crazy. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's like it's not overwhelming though. It's all exciting, and I don't get starstruck over it, but I'm just like, wow, like these people are. I get to the point. It's like it's in the middle. It's like, wow, they're actually just sitting here spending time talking to me, and not even like after you get their autograph, if their lines are dead, they'll talk your ear off. They'll just keep talking and just having a cool conversation. There's been plenty of times they'll call me back over to their table to talk with them if I'm just walking around the con. I'm just like, this is so cool. Who would have thought?
Oh yeah, it is. It's such a cool thing, and especially with my show, like you said, like with your show, you get so many opportunities to talk to people you've looked up to your whole life, and I think it's great. You don't get starstruck. I still do sometimes. I'm trying to work on that because. I mean, I've met so many people I shouldn't be at all, but
Hmm.
I have that little girl in me that's just like, oh my god, I can't believe it's so and so. But it's a very overwhelming feeling, but it's so incredible.
I did get kind of starstruck once where I was just smiling a lot. I did talk to him, but my brother. This was a few years ago. There was a con called Fanicon, and my brother and our wives were there, and it was Kevin Eastman, the guy who created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
we grew up, child. We still watch that as grown men. We'll still probably
Oh, me
dress,
too.
wear
Yep,
our
I
turtles
love Teenage
pajamas.
Mutants Ninja Turtles.
Yep, eating pizza and watching the movies.
Yeah.
But I remember so well, my genius self, for one, I get everything prepared the day before. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring this, this, and this to get signed. Forgot it. So we go all the way out. I mean, it's only about a half hour, 25 minutes from my house. So we go out there, meet my brother and his wife out there, hang out, and we're walking around talking, getting all their autographs. And I forgot my Turtles book to get it signed. And I'm just like, oh man. So I was thinking about going to buy one. I was looking around. I was like, all right, these things are real expensive. I can just run home. So my wife and I ran home to go get it. And my brother waited for me. Like he could have just went back there, got the autograph, and his wife was like, "Why don't you just get the autograph?" He's like, I can't do it without Aaron. It wouldn't even be right, which was great. So we go back. We're talking to him, and we're just, we tell him what we want, the autographs and stuff. Then we're just kind of standing there as he's talking to us, and he's like, he drew a turtle in both of our books, and he drew a
Oh, how
mouser in his.
cool.
He asked him for a turtle and a mouser. I just asked him for a turtle. He signed it, and he's talking, and like our wives are just sitting there, with the little watery eyes because we're seeing like our childhood hero just.
Yeah.
But me and him have these big old goofy grins on our faces. So that's, I guess if you could say if I've ever gotten starstruck, and I could probably say the same thing for him, it would have been that one time. But after that, and this is no disrespect to any actor, actress, director who I've met, I just kind of like got pat. Like this really isn't that. Not that it's not a big deal, but at the end of the day, they're people too. So I'm just like
Right.
they're just they have more fans than I do. I guess.
No, that's so cool. And I grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I met him too. He's an amazing guy. But yeah, it's so cool. And I shouldn't be because I've met the biggest people I've wanted to meet. I have, but still, I don't know. I can't get over it, and I shouldn't. And it's pathetic that I still do get starstruck, but I do. It's always going to be in me, unfortunately.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's cool. It's humbling. I bet for them especially. But it's just I don't know. Maybe I don't know who else I'd really like to meet like that. Like as far as like a big name star who I would be like, oh man, I don't even know what to say type of deal. I
Right.
I don't know, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen because it probably could happen. But you know,
Yeah, no, there's definitely still a few that I know. Like, oh my goodness, like I know we're on a horror podcast, and you'll probably hate me for saying this, but one of my favorite film series in the world is the Twilight series,
oh
which I
man,
get so much hate on, but I just love it. And one time I thought I saw Robert Pattinson, and I like literally started hyperventilating, and I've never experienced weak knees, but I literally got weak knees, and so I think if I ever met him, I would lose my mind.
oh man, that. I'm not mad at you for saying that. My wife loves that freaking series. She loved the books. My brother loved the books. I think he really enjoyed the movies. I read the first book. I tried to watch the first movie and I couldn't get into it. But to each their own with those things.
The first one's probably the worst, though. So I think if you got in, I think you'd eventually like it. But I know I get so much hate for it. But I like what I like. I can't
Yeah.
help it.
No, there's nothing wrong. We all have our guilty pleasures. Mine is I don't know if you've ever heard of it or seen it, but this movie, it's a comedy horror called Thanksgiving about a killer turkey. Love it.
Really? No, I haven't heard of it, but that sounds great.
It's so ridiculous. It's just oh my goodness. And I don't know why I love it, but I do. I actually made a friend off of that movie, which is
Oh,
kind of
really?
funny. Yeah, there was actually a con. As a matter, it was it about 2 or 3 years ago now. 2 years ago, I believe. It was Robert Englund came for it, Amanda Weiss came for it, and a couple other people. But
Wow.
anyway, I was down. I was one of my friends. He has a podcast called Video Game Crosstalk. Awesome podcast. He talks about video games, technology, science, and other random things. Anyways, I was there helping him run his table, so I had like the press pass type thing. Well, he bought a table, so I had the vendor pass, I should say. And my wife went to the con, and she was waiting downstairs because we could go upstairs earlier because I had the vendor pass. So she was waiting in. She had to wait in line to get her pass, and she had a Freddy glove for herself and my brother. That you had to like hand it into them. They'll give you a number, and they'll bring it up to him, and he'll sign it for you or whatever. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, as far as Thanksgiving goes, me and his name is Matt. He's been on the podcast quite a few times. He's like one of my co-hosts. I don't know how the conversation came up. We were just talking about random horror movies, and then one of us asked the other if you ever seen Thanksgiving, and we were both like, "Yeah, I love that freaking movie." And we literally started a friendship, like exchanged information after that conversation. Like, yo, here's my Facebook, here's my phone number. I told him I had a podcast. He actually had a podcast, and it went from there. All because of a weird horror movie.
That's awesome. No, that's cool. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah, I get a lot of hate for certain things, but I love it. So that's all I care about. It makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's perfectly. There's always going to be things that people love. And I mean, as far as let's just say movies in general, people are going to love some movies. People are going to hate some movies. There's some movies that I hate, and there's some movies that I love. One movie, Tales from the Hood Part 2. I cannot stand that movie. I was so upset and disappointed with that movie. We actually did a podcast on that. Probably one of our funnier episodes. My brother and I did it, and I think the thing that bothered us the most was one, we weren't expecting a sequel, and then about a year before it came out, they said there was going to be a sequel. So then you're like, okay, cool. I have high expectations for this because the first one was so fun and entertaining. And they were bringing back like the same director and writers and all that, and they dropped the ball with it bad. Like they dropped it and popped it. It was just it's rough.
Yeah.
And it was one of those type of things where we were like, we have an open challenge and it's still open now. Not anybody who thought the movie was okay or thought it was, like I enjoyed it. It was all right. Somebody who really loved the movie, really enjoyed the movie. Let's say two people who really loved and enjoyed the movie, thought it was great. We have an open debate, an open, friendly debate on the podcast just discussing the movie, why you thought it was so great and all that. And so far, nothing. But it was rough.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, those technical difficulties do happen, but we know how to learn. We learn from those.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
I got okay. See, seeing as how that just happened, have you ever lost an episode with your show?
Actually, yes. So I was recording with Butch Patrick, Eddie Munster,
Mm-hmm.
from the Munsters,
That's
and
awesome.
it took me forever to get a interview with him because he's so busy, and finally we were able to get a date, and everything was set. And we were recording it, and it was awesome. And then because I do my show through a studio, I guess they forgot to record the first half.
Oh.
And instead of telling me right then and there, like, hey, we forgot to record the first half, can you redo it? They didn't tell me till after the whole show and we hung up and everything. So I
Wow.
still got the second half of the interview, but and eventually we were able to get a different date with him again, and he did it again, which I was so grateful for. And he was amazing with that, but that really sucked.
Yeah.
that
Yep.
was a big disappointment.
And
Yeah.
see, that right there wasn't your fault at all. My very first episode. Well, it was supposed to be my very first episode. It was me, my brother Rob, and my brother Henry. We were actually on our way to Scaricon, and I had this little recorder my wife got me. I never used it. Of course, I didn't read the directions. I knew how to turn it on and off and hit record. And so I was talking to them. I was like, "Hey, man, you guys know I'm starting a podcast." I was like, "Yo, why don't we just record, our conversation on the way up there, talking about the con or whatever horror related, and do the same thing on the way back?" Cool. So we do this. We go to the first rest stop, stretch, whatever. And like the thing, you turn it on, and there's another switch you turn on to hit record. So I did that. We recorded. Get to the first rest stop, and I turned the thing off. Thought nothing of it. Get back in the car, recording again. And then on our way home from the con, recording again, like, oh man, I was like, I can't wait to hear what we were talking about. I knew it was funny because we were laughing both ways, home and, back home and stuff. So I get home, bring it into hook it up to my computer, hit and play, nothing. I was like, what the hell is going on? I know I recorded this. So I finally flipped the thing over. And there's one that says, the on off switch, and then the other one says record, save. And I would just hit on and record and then turn it off and just lost everything. But I wasn't even mad about it. Like, I think I ended up I recorded with my one brother Henry, maybe like the same night or the next day. We did an episode, which ended up being the first official episode, but it ended up being a real funny story. That's why I'm not mad about it, and I learned from it to pay more attention. Well, I thought I learned from it because I have another thing. I went through, let's see. Well, the first computer, water got spilled on it. I used to keep it under the bed, and a cup just happened. The most random thing. Like, I had a cup of water on the floor, and it got knocked over, and somehow it poured under the bed and just drenched my laptop, of all things.
Oh goodness.
So I didn't the computer stopped working, but I took the hard drive out, so whatever was saved on that hard drive I didn't lose. Next laptop, which these are both older laptops, it just decided to stop working when it wouldn't turn on anymore. Even with the power cord plugged in and all that, it wouldn't turn on. So I took that hard drive out. I ended up getting a desktop that worked fine. It was just kind of slow. I had issues with it here and there. Get another laptop. I got a brand new laptop now. And about maybe a month ago or so, for some reason, there's two hard drives on it. The hard drive just went. One of the hard drives just went. Lost.
Oh no.
So I lost I lost 4 or 5 new episodes, and I lost some old episodes that I didn't have out yet. And I was just like, oh man. But I blame myself for it because I tell myself all the time, I try to repeat this, especially for fellow podcasters and hosts, radio hosts and all that good stuff. As far as when you're recording, like a pre-recorded thing, record it, save it, and if you have to send it, like for me, I send it to my brother, record it when it's done, or, record it, obviously, save it right once you're done, and send it right to that person, just in case. So at the very least, if the computer crashes, it's already saved in the email, and they'll get it, and they can do what they got to do with it and get it back to you.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I've been doing good for the past like 5 or 6 episodes, so I'm proud of myself. It took me about 80 episodes to really figure this out, but I think I got
No,
it.
that's smart. But at least now you learned, and I mean, you're still new to it for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
not even 2 years. I mean, so no, that's great that you learned from that, and that's all we can do. We can learn from our mistakes and just grow bigger and better from it. But I know it's a very gut-wrenching feeling when that happens. You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I mean, I lost 2 interviews, which I talked to both. I had one of the guys on before, and the other guy, it was his first time on the podcast. But I talked to them both. They both understood. Like I told them the whole process of like when stuff was going on. They both understood. They were both cool. They would be glad to come back on. So I'm happy about that. And then the other episodes that I lost, the other like 2 or 3 new episodes I lost was with friends that I recorded with. We were doing like movie reviews and stuff like that anyway. So that's easy. That's easy to redo. I was more upset about the interviews than the reviews, because the review we can go back and rewatch the movies and have that conversation again. It won't be exactly the same, but
Right.
the interviews, as you know, is different because you get like one real good kind of energy. Let's say like this interview right here, we're getting one real good kind of energy. And it's like if we had to go back and redo it, not saying we wouldn't get the same energy, but the conversation would be way different. It would be changed up because me and you already had it. Well, we already know what we talked about, but it's like we got to kind of remember everything we discussed.
Right.
And it just makes it tougher.
Yeah, no, it does suck, but that's good that you learned, and hopefully that won't happen again because at least you're sending it and stuff. So that's good. That's good. You learned from it, and that's all you could do.
Yeah, my biggest advice to myself is stop being so freaking hard-headed, because I would tell myself, listen, when I'm done with the episode, I would say it all the time. When I'm done with this episode, I'm just gonna mix it down and send it to Christian. My wife would say, just mix it down. Well, she wouldn't say mix it down. She'd just say save it and send it to your brother. Send it to Christian. And oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna do it tomorrow. I'd even tell my brother, yo, I got like 5 or 6 episodes I'm gonna send you. And now, so now it's just one at a time, which I like it though, because it makes it a little bit easier for both of us. Like I recorded with Joe. I already sent that to my brother, and like I said, I'm gonna send this one to him right after, and he gets time to kind of mix them down. I have 2 episodes that I already have in my queue to drop Tuesday, Wednesday, so you guys should be dropping the following week. And
Okay, cool.
Next weekend I'll be recording at least 2 more episodes, if not more, just so I can get them, just so I'm always like ahead. So if there's ever a time I can't
Right.
record, I would like to have a few episodes ahead, so I can be like a month ahead of myself.
No, that's smart. Yeah, that's a really good way to do it for sure.
Do you like doing your talk show more? Or do you like acting more? Or do you like them about the same? Because I know they give you kind of different. They're different.
Yeah, I do love them both, but acting's just always kind of been my main thing. That's really where my heart and soul is. But I love my show, especially because I get to help so many people too. And like I said, I've been giving so many incredible opportunities through it, so I'm so thankful for that. But I think just acting's really my number one. That's just what I really love to do.
That's really cool. Now, do you go to horror conventions and stuff, as far as like having a table, signing autographs, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I've tagged along with Joe a couple times, and I know there's a couple more coming up in the next year or so that I'm going to be going to. I'm kind of newer to the horror conventions. I've done a lot of Comic Cons and such, but now I just started getting more into the horror ones. I love it because it's really a great thing to actually see people in person and really connect with fans and stuff, and it's a really cool, different feeling for sure.
I agree. I love it, and I actually told him about ScareCon and gave him the guy's information that runs it, like his email, and gave him his Facebook page. He said he's gonna check it out because he was like, he wants to go to. He said, I don't know if he'll be able to make it to next month. So it would be great if he could, but he was like, I want to definitely check it out. If not for next month, in the near future, because
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to meet both of you guys at these cons. At one of those, the ScareCon. They do one in June in Massachusetts and one in October in Rochester, New York. So that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. I love New York too. I'm born and raised in Vegas, but most of my family's from New York, so I love New York. That's where That's my second home. I love it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Then I guess I can be expecting to see you guys at a con one day. Hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd love to do that for sure.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else you want to ask me before we wrap it up, or are you?
No, yeah, just kind of, if people could go and follow me, it's at Real Corey Taylor on Instagram and Twitter, and my show name's Corey Taylor Talks, and they can just check out my Facebook page, Corey Taylor Talks. You can go to CoreyTaylorTalks.com and have all the links to my show there, and also to all my social medias. And then my acting page, which is my IMDb, is CoreyTaylorActor.com, and that's how you can really keep up with everything and see all the projects I'm working on. Because some of them I don't even know about. I learned from my IMDb, so that's just like the best ways to keep up to date with everything.
That's awesome. And I have one final question for you. I'm trying to remember to ask this question to everybody I have on that's into the independent horror stuff and independent movies in general. But what's one thing of advice you would give to somebody that's trying to be an actor or an actor? So that's indie actor, actress, writer, director.
I think it's very tough sometimes, and it's just unfortunately, and just kind of like any industry or any profession or anything, there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of bad people out there. So you just really need to find the good people. And I think when good people come together, a lot of amazing things can come out of that. So just really find the good people that you can trust, and find your core people. And I really think you can achieve anything you want, and just really keep going. And no matter what life throws at you, as long as you keep following your dreams and really following your heart, and knowing what you want and knowing your end goal, I really believe anything can happen. So just keep going, and find the good people that you can count on, and you all work together, and you build your future together. And I think that's a really cool thing. And there's so many good people out there. So just find them, and then get rid of all the negative.
Yes, definitely.
Get rid of all the negative people. Leave them behind while you guys keep going and building your amazing careers.
That's great. I couldn't have said that better. That's awesome right there, though. So definitely take that advice, people. Definitely go check out everything that Corey Taylor's involved in. You heard her post. You heard her about her links, and I'll post all the links with this episode. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was a fun time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute blast. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Anytime you want to come on here and talk some horror, promote some horror stuff that you're involved in, just let me know.
Okay, well, dude, thank you. So it's really been a great podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'll say my closing, and then could you just hold on for like 2 minutes?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, again, my listeners, you should know where to find me, but if not, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and anywhere else you can listen to a podcast. I also have a Facebook group and a Facebook page, Horror with Search 30. Just go out there, listen to the podcast, check out all these amazing interviews I have and all these amazing people and their amazing work. And as always, I'll see you